piece was written as a drum solo piece. We have a couple of standard pieces written for drums like this, tom-toms. Here I'm using tom-toms and bongos. They're not specified in the score. They're specified as really resonant drums and really dry drums. Dry meaning you hit them and they don't really resonate at all. So that's what the bongos are for, and the tom-toms are the more resonant. And I'll do some demonstrations in a second. I just wanted to tell you about the piece. The title, Word of Mouth, is basically this idea of if I tell someone in the audience a story and they pass it around the room, by the time it gets to the end, it's a completely different story. It's amazing how that works. So this piece starts with a really simple rhythm, and it's actually, there are no implied harmonies or no implications in this one. It's worked out over the whole piece until the very end, and it goes through all the modifications of the techniques that are used and the natural sounds. I wanted to keep this really just, the composition was driven by the natural things that the hands can do and the natural sounds from the drums. So for example, the piece starts with one hand and one stick. And this comes from, I played some Brazilian music, you know, I'm not, by far not an expert, but I've taken a few lessons, and it's based on this repenique, which is the main calling drum in a samba band, and also the surdo, which is like the bass guitar in a samba band. So I'll demonstrate those two sounds. So that's the leader in the band. He's calling them to play, and then the bass instrument is a low drum, kind of like this low tom-tom, but it's played with one big puffy mallet and a hand, and the hand is really changing the pitch, if you can call it that, or the tone or the length of the tone, so you can manipulate that and make it a little more musical. Here, that just goes through, that's kind of like the bass tone through a whole piece. So I was thinking more about, okay, just the natural sounds. You have the really dry sound, the bongo, and the really resonant sound we just heard. Two totally different colors to work with here. So this starting rhythm of the piece. That's basically it for the whole piece. I mean, there's more than that, but that's where it starts from. And you can see I have the dry sound by just using my hand, and the resonant sound from open and open tone. I started thinking, well, how can I make the resonant drums drier, and how can I make the drier drums more resonant? And that's where the technique comes in. You know, naturally, just for me, with a little bit of tension, dropping the stick, I can buzz on the drier bongos and make it more resonant. Kind of matching the length of both notes, and then the opposite by just playing those shorter and matching the length of the drier drums. So we have that, those two sounds already working out over through the course of the first part, and then the hands kind of take over. It's always going somewhere. The hands kind of take over, and they're doing it naturally with the hand. If I just drop it, I get that. I don't get much sound, so I use that sound a lot. And there's a couple other interesting sounds. I'll leave it for the piece. And at the end, you'll see I'll switch to these xylophone mallets. But naturally, and this all happened by mistake. Naturally, what happened was I was playing and I accidentally slid, and I got the drum that I was using. There was this funny little gliss, and I thought, well, that can be the whole ending. That's great. It's perfect. So I have these little xylophone mallets that I slide on the head, and it changes the pitch. So I'll just play the whole thing for you. And enough talking.